It's good news for soccer fans around the world. The US will fast-track visas for foreign visitors who have tickets to the 2026 FIFA World Cup matches next year. That is according to US President Donald Trump on Monday. The matches will take place in 11 US cities from June 11th to July 19th, 2026, with Canada and Mexico also hosting some games. Washington will set up a scheduling system for visa interview appointments that prioritizes foreign fans attending World Cup matches. Here's Trump.
Since the creation of the White House FIFA Task Force earlier this year, Secretary Rubio's team at the State Department has worked tirelessly with the Department of Homeland Security to ensure that soccer fans from all around the world are properly vetted and able to come to the United States next summer easily.
Trump added that the World Cup could bring in $30 billion and create 200,000 jobs. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the State Department added 400 consular officers to process visas, doubling its presence in some countries. But he also had a warning for fans.
Your ticket is not a visa. It doesn't guarantee admission to the U.S. It guarantees you an expedited appointment. You're still going to go through the same vetting. We're going to do the same vetting as anybody else would get. The only difference here is we're moving them up in the queue. We're moving them up faster.
At the White House, FIFA President Gianni Infantino predicted 5 to 10 million people will travel to the U.S. for the games. FIFA said that fans from 212 countries have bought over 1 million tickets so far. In a statement, the soccer organization said ticket holders will get details on the priority visa system early in 2026.
Welcome to the joint press conference by the Honorable Foreign Affairs and Expatriates, the State of Palestine.
The UN resolution is the first step in a long road towards peace. That step was needed because we could not embark on anything else before we had a ceasefire. So the ceasefire is important, and it has been important for saving Palestinian lives.
The result of the voting is as follows. The draft resolution has been adopted.
But it means that there are other issues that we need to tackle. It means we need to ensure that this is governed by international law, that it's not divorced from the New York Declaration, that it truly embodies the issue of self-determination.
At a camp for the displaced in Sudan's Aldaba, women who escaped the siege in Al-Fashir tell the story of how they lost their male relatives in the fighting, with the fate of some of the men still unknown.
There's no tent where you'll find women saying their husbands came with them, except for the elderly men. But most people are like me. I have lost my husband.
The war finished them off. We have no man or a brother left to stand by us. We're only women left.
Al-Fashir was the final stronghold of the Sudanese army in the vast western Darfur region before it fell to the RSF on October 26 after an 18-month siege. Now the Sudanese Red Crescent says almost 80% of those in the Aldaba camp are women, with the rest mainly being elderly men. Salma Mohammed lost her husband in Al-Fashir.
I am one of those whose husbands were martyred in Al-Fashir. I have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy, and I am now 7 months pregnant. I just entered my 8th month. Some of the men were martyred and others were captured on the road when they were trying to leave Al-Fashir. There are also many men whose fates are still unknown, whether captured or dead. The rest are currently in Al-Fashir, detained there. Some men left Sudan at the beginning of the war. This is why the women are the ones here, and most of them are widows whose husbands were martyred in Al-Fashir.
The United Nations Refugee Agency says tens of thousands of those who fled Al-Fashir remain unaccounted for, raising concerns for their safety after reports of rape, killings, and other abuses from escapees. Here's United Nations Aid Chief Tom Fletcher.
I'm hearing too often that people have nothing, that there is no food, there's no water, there's no medicine. This is a desperate, desperate situation, and the world must respond.
Meantime, in Tawila, women narrate the horror they endured under the RSF siege.
They besieged us in places from all directions, east, west, north, south. They're targeting sources of water, markets and mills. No food could come in or out at all. Drones lined up above our heads, all types of weapons that I can't even name in the sky and on land.
The shelling was over our heads, drones and all types of weapons. If you went to the market, your child would not come back. But if you want to go to the shops, there aren't any.
Asked for comment, the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces dismissed reports that men are being trapped in al-Fashir. The group has also denied abuses and said it has tried to help the population access humanitarian aid.
Google says it plans to build a data hub on Australia's tiny Christmas Island, which lies some 220 miles south of Indonesia. The tech giant on Monday confirmed plans for the facility, along with a subsea cable system linking the island to the Maldives and Oman. Google said the hub will be smaller than some of its other data centers and would share its digital infrastructure with local users. Some had questioned whether the remote outpost has enough power to support the new facility without depriving locals. But the island's biggest employer, mining firm Phosphate Resources, now says there's sufficient energy for the data hub and local needs. However, it warns capacity could be strained if the island's detention center or a shuttered resort were to reopen. Australia's infrastructure department is in talks with Google to ensure energy needs don't impact residents or businesses. 2 more Google cables will land near key Australian military bases, and experts say the facility could help deploy AI drones to monitor Chinese submarine activity. This isn't the first time big business has set its eyes on Christmas Island. Past ventures include a planned spaceport that never opened and a casino that closed after 5 years. A detention center for asylum seekers dominated the island for 2 decades before immigration policy changes saw it largely emptied in 2023.
An allegation made in a documentary film about the Bosnian Civil War has sparked a new investigation into the bloody siege of Sarajevo 3 decades ago. The investigation was launched by authorities in Italy, who are probing claims that foreigners paid large sums of money to members of the Bosnian Serb forces to visit and shoot at civilians in Sarajevo. About 11,000 civilians were killed by shelling and sniper fire from Bosnian Serb army positions on the hills around the city after Bosnia declared independence from Yugoslavia. In 2022, a documentary film titled Sarajevo Safari alleged foreigners, including many from Italy, paid to set up rifles and shoot civilians. The film's director, Miran Zupanic, said he based the documentary on 2 witnesses, one of whom was present for some of the shootings. Another is an analyst who came across a confession from a Serbian soldier who said he was on a bus to Sarajevo with 5 Italian tourists. Earlier this year, an Italian journalist and novelist named Ezio Gavazzani filed a legal complaint over allegations of what some termed sniper tourism. Without providing any firm evidence, Gavazzani said wealthy foreigners paid large sums of money to take part in the shooting trips. A source in the Milan prosecutor's office confirmed the investigation had been opened. The Milan prosecutors have not commented on the case. Benjamina Karic is a former mayor of Sarajevo and hopes the investigation will prompt prosecutors in Bosnia to launch a similar probe.
I harbor a particular sentiment towards this issue and genuinely wish to believe that the initiated investigation and the case opening in Milan will, in some manner, assist the proceedings underway at the prosecutor's office of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I have faith in justice and institutions, and I hope that after 30 years, we will ultimately hold those responsible accountable.
Bosnian Serb wartime political leader Radovan Karadzic and his military commander Ratko Mladic were jailed for life for war crimes and crimes against humanity, but many Sarajevo residents want others brought to justice.
A Reuters visual investigation has found that the United States military is upgrading a long-abandoned former Cold War naval base in the Caribbean. Officials and experts say it could mean the U.S. is preparing for possible action inside Venezuela. So why is the U.S. restoring the base now?
This is not something that the region is accustomed to seeing.
Ryan Berg is director of the Americas program and head of the Future of Venezuela initiative at the Center for Strategic and International Studies.
I think this is happening now for a number of reasons. First, the Trump administration is very keen to demonstrate that they are implementing a new paradigm when it comes to dealing with counter-narcotics. No longer is the U.S. Coast Guard the lead operator in these missions, but the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Air Force have been brought in to support and in many ways take over these missions. And I think that that new paradigm is there because the administration is keen to show that foreign terrorist organization designations for cartels in Latin America have consequences, in this case, lethal consequences.
Since early September, the U.S. has carried out at least 14 strikes against alleged drug vessels in the Caribbean and Pacific, killing more than 60 people. The upgrades in the Caribbean are taking place at Puerto Rico's Roosevelt Roads Naval Base. The Navy withdrew from the facility more than 20 years ago in 2004. Before that, it was one of the biggest U.S. naval stations in the world. One U.S. official told Reuters the base occupies a strategic location and offers a large amount of space for gathering equipment. Construction activity was underway on September 17th. According to photos taken by Reuters, crews began clearing and repaving taxiways leading to the runway. In addition to the upgrades of landing and takeoff capabilities, the U.S. is building out facilities at civilian airports in Puerto Rico and St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Those two U.S. territories sit roughly 500 miles from Venezuela. Reuters spoke to 3 U.S. military officials and 3 maritime experts, who said the new construction in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands pointed to preparations that could enable the U.S. military to carry out operations inside Venezuela. President Donald Trump has also suggested it.
And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
The U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean began in August with the arrival of warships, a nuclear-powered submarine, fighter jets, and spy planes. The Ford Aircraft Carrier Strike Group, with roughly 10,000 troops and dozens of aircraft and weapons systems, is on its way from the Adriatic Sea. According to Reuters reporting in U.S. officials, the Trump administration since August has deployed at least 13 warships, 5 support vessels, and a nuclear submarine. 8 warships remain in the region, along with supporting vessels.
It's the song that drove parents around the world crazy. Now, the company behind Baby Shark has made a big splash on South Korea's stock market. Shares in Pinkfong jumped over 60% on their market debut Tuesday, before falling back to end the day around 9% up on the listing price. Pinkfong raised almost $52 million in the offering, pricing at the top of its range. Analysts say the strong debut follows a wave of successful listings on South Korea's Kosdaq market, which focuses on smaller firms. The company was founded in 2010 and now plans to expand beyond kids' content into family entertainment. It already produces and distributes content including movies, music, and mobile apps. After Baby Shark became YouTube's most viewed video, Pinkfong kept the momentum going with a 3D sing-along series that climbed to the top of Netflix's chart for kids programs. Now, Pinkfong hopes the IPO cash will help it roll out new characters, premium animations, and pop-up stores worldwide.